Welcome to Tony at 12. I'm Tony LeBlanc, and today I'm in conversation with Samuel Staples and his sister Louisa, who are the joint artistic directors of the Alderney Chamber Music Festival, which takes place from the 12th to the 18th of August. Good to see you both.
Hello, thanks for having us.
And more to the point, Samuel, many congratulations on your recent marriage.
Oh, thank you very much. Yes,
So, might be on a little rock in the middle of the English Channel, but we remain fairly well informed as to events. Was it
very
actually
well
up?
informed.
Was it up in Scotland?
Yeah, in Edinburgh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a lovely place to have a marriage, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Louisa, what have you been up to musically since we saw you for the last festival last year?
I've been mostly with my quartet, really. We've been pretty busy the last month, lots of festivals. Also at the moment we're preparing for a competition. We released a CD that was a couple of months ago. So yeah, and also some solo concerts, but mostly with my quartet.
Right, okay, that's good. What about you, Samuel? What have you been up to?
Oh, all sorts of things. I've been spending a lot of time working in Belfast recently, leading their orchestra up there, the Ulster Orchestra, and a lot of time in Newcastle, leading the Northern Symphony, which is the orchestra up there, and recording some pretty dodgy soundtracks recently, I have to say. If anyone's seen what is it, He-Man, Master of the Universe, that just got slated. Yep, did that soundtrack the other day, the last Downton Abbey movie soundtrack. That was quite a long day.
Yeah.
And a really dodgy Netflix film with Sacha Baron Cohen that's just come out. That was, yeah. So that's been, last couple of months. Abbey Road's been, all sorts going on in there.
How do you get these engagements? Do you have an agent, or how does it work?
You first.
You go first.
Not
Sorry,
really.
I should have.
It's sort of it's almost no, that's right. It's sort of like having lots of agents, I suppose. We have contractors, I suppose. So in the
Yeah.
movies, in the movie world, basically, Disney would approach Louisa would approach you and say, well, we need 8 trombones, 4 saxophones, 20 violins, and a drum kit to record our new film. And you would then go about finding the musicians to me or whoever to do that sort of. So there's sort of these you work for lots of different ones of those, depending on what sort of project it is, or some sort of lower budget, more art house films might have only like 4 players in them, and that might be one kind of person. Then the big Disney Marvel stuff has a totally different. So yeah, it's sort of like having lots of different agents, I suppose. You with the quartet, you do it yourself.
We do it ourselves at the moment.
Yeah.
Why give the 20% away?
Yes, exactly. Which at the moment is working, but there will come a point where it's necessary, because there's pros and cons of being with an agency. But one of the big pros is that they take a lot of the organization, the negotiation contracts. It's a lot of it's taken out of your hands, which also has pros and cons. That you'll always lose a certain amount of control, but you gain a lot more time and have to deal with a lot less things.
I mean,
so
if you've got to find 8 saxophonists at short notice,
it's not easy.
It's not.
That can be a bit difficult. But there we are. I've asked you this question before, but we've got a growing audience, so I'll ask it again. Samuel, how do you define chamber music?
Good question. Chamber music really is, as the name might suggest, was music that was written to be played in a chamber rather than a concert hall. So really it's concert music that's designed to be played by a small number of people. I would say maximum 6 or 8, really, before it's an orchestra, really.
Yeah.
Or a chamber
or a chamber orchestra. But 6 or 8 people, and really in a lovely sort of 100, 200 person chamber where it's much more intimate, and the music can be much more sort of personal, I'd say. For most composers, it was the very personal music that they wrote for chamber music. Whereas you might have a symphony orchestra, which obviously has the sort of excitement value and the shock value of having those 8 trombones or whatever. But yeah, that's really what chamber music is.
Also, I think one of the very defining features of chamber music is that it doesn't have a it does have a leader in the sense that the first violin is usually this leader, but it doesn't have a very defined leader, whereas an orchestra very clearly has a concertmaster and has a conductor.
Yeah.
Or has a soloist, and there's a very very clear hierarchy. Whereas, and of course, in chamber music, of course, the first violin is the one who gives the
Depends on the first violinist.
It depends on the first violinist.
It doesn't happen when you're playing second violin. You're still in charge.
No.
Whereas arguably in a string quartet there isn't one voice that is more important. It's just that they have different roles.
Yeah.
And I think that's also something very why it becomes often so personal, is that it's not just a piece of music where one person makes all the decisions and one person's leading it and the others are sort of following, but rather 4, 5, 6 people sort of actually doing something together and taking on those roles together.
The actual music itself, would you describe it as being Baroque, or is that too narrow a definition?
Well, chamber music sort of came about in what we would consider chamber music, and what we play in our festival sort of began at sort of the end of the Baroque era, but then sort of really came into its own in the classical period, the Romantic period, and then up until today. I play in a string quartet, and we often say that we have Haydn to thank for our jobs, because he's sort of invented the string quartet, which has then become sort of the center of what would be considered chamber music. But it was people like Haydn, Beethoven, Mozart, who didn't exactly invent it, but sort of made it into what it is by writing so much for it.
And I suppose that's all a question about the arrangers and the fact the music slots in easily for 4 people rather than a full orchestra.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's also that during that time when chamber music was becoming a big thing and becoming very popular, there were lots of, like, there was the professional musician as a concept, but there were also just lots of sort of aristocrats or people in the sort of, the sort of professional people were like really quite good pianists or good cellists and whatever. And so it would also be music that would be written that you could play at home with your friends. It had that sort of vibe, and it wasn't necessarily just for professional musicians to go on tour and play in big concert halls. It was,
In fact, that didn't happen really until much later. Yeah. That actually the idea of sort of of being a sort of professional chamber musician or having a professional ensemble, that actually came much later. It was, and the idea now that we all subscribe to, that performances are incredibly rehearsed and incredibly prepared, actually was back then really not the case. It was a lot more sort of done off the cuff. It would be a much more sort of, someone's written a new string quartet and 4 very enthusiastic amateurs would get together in an evening and sort of sight read it for a couple of friends. That was sort of much more the way things get, and then we've turned it sort of into something a bit different.
And we try and keep some of that feeling in Alderney, I think, because so many of the people that come over are our friends. That's my dad's phone going off. There's so many people that, actually all the people that come over to Alderney are our friends, actually.
Yeah, sure.
So we still have that kind of feeling.
So you can have, to quote a modern term, I suppose, jamming sessions, can you? All sit down around a table, instruments out, and what should we play? And
actually,
variations.
Yeah.
We would call it probably a sight reading party. This would be.
But yeah,
I sit duly reprimanded. How about classical music in general? Is it on the up?
It depends where you are.
That's a good question.
And which branch of chamber music.
I think it's about to be. I think that as the world becomes sort of more and more condensed with stuff, and there's more and more that you can do online, and basically, it's a conductor colleague of mine always says, in like 1900, you only had to persuade someone to go to a concert. Whereas now you have to persuade someone that not only should they go to a concert, but it's more interesting to go to a concert than to watch Netflix or all of the million things you can do without even leaving your sofa, right? Yeah. I think, or at least I think I probably have to think to stay sane, that over the coming years, as people get sort of, I think, sort of a sense of fatigue from so much stuff being online, that I think going to live music, whether that's classical or jazz or whatever.
Yeah.
Going to live music will become something that people really, really, really treasure, because so much of our life will be online and through screens and stuff. That's what I hope, anyway.
Yeah,
Totally. And the industry is also, as much as it will, is somewhat also changing to adapt to modern tastes, to modern desires, and to a sort of a slightly faster paced. Many orchestras are now trying to do slightly more casual concerts, more accessible programs. Without, it's not to say that they play worse music or something, but that they are trying to find new formats to bring classical music to a slightly different.
We try to do
audience, which we also do here.
Yeah,
We try and keep most of our concerts very casual. We also try and keep them a little bit on the shorter side, because we both think that a lot of classical concerts are just too long.
I find them too long.
I find them too long. I'm joking.
Don't say that.
I'm joking. So we sort of, in our festivals within our control. So we try and do what we can also to try and make things as relaxed as possible, and to make people feel that also, even if they've never been to a classical concert, I think some people feel that if they've never been, that they kind of don't quite know how to behave or what to expect. And so we try and do as much as we can to make people feel like there isn't actually a particular way to behave. They can come dressed however they want, come, and as long as they enjoy it, that's fine by us.
It's all kind of made up. It's not really true. You can just sort of come and have a nice time and have a glass of wine, and it's no different really than any other concert. It's sort of made up rules really that don't really exist.
So shall we describe it as posh flash mob? You've seen Flash Mob, have you?
I have, yes. Yes, I suppose so.
It's quite incredible how they put those things together, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. Amazing, isn't it? Have you ever seen one?
No.
No, they're well worth a view, Louisa, because they do all sorts of stuff, and these people just sort of turn up. It's all obviously rehearsed, but suddenly somebody comes out of a door with a double bass, and somebody comes out with an oboe, and suddenly they're into making music. And gradually, as the show develops, more and more musicians appear, including a conductor. It's very interesting.
Right.
But there we are. But a good way, in my view, to sell the concept to young people, because they don't have to pay lots of money to go to a concert hall to pick up some really lovely music. There we go.
Totally.
Right, what festival number are we on now?
That's an interesting question.
Yes.
It depends whether you count our slightly subdued COVID years.
Officially, it would be 9.
Yes, officially is the 9th year that the festival has existed, but it's 8th.
Yes, it's the 8th
festival.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is kind of mad, actually. Especially when you think that Louisa's, how old are you?
26.
Yeah, Louisa's only just turned 26. It's slightly frightening. And I'm about to turn 30. So yeah, it's it's our 8th festival, and I feel like we're sort of really in the swing of it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a spectator, it comes over very professional in my view.
Oh, I'm glad.
Really enjoyable. So there we are. What's the theme for 2026? Have you got one? Music-wise?
We haven't got a theme for the whole festival, but each concert has a theme.
Yes.
Yeah.
Each concert has a theme, which you can read about soon in our brochures. Yes, each concert has a theme. You should say something about some theme.
Yes, so we've got a couple. We've got a couple of sort of things that will be coming back. Our Bar and Coffee concert that's become very established in our festival. So the cat might need to just
the cat.
leave.
Sorry.
So we've got that again. We've got our sort of traditional last fun night of the festival
with a cocktail.
The cocktail. And then just to sort of pick out a couple of bits, we've got. We've got our concert on Saturday on the 15th of August. It will be featuring Vaughan Williams' Lark Ascending, which is a very well-known piece, especially here in the UK by Vaughan Williams, and lots of other sort of nature and bird themed pieces. And our first opening concert has a little bit of this appeals to me, has a little bit of a feminist touch, that it's about the Mendelssohn siblings, because everybody knows Felix Mendelssohn.
Yeah.
What people didn't often know, or don't still know, even though her music has come back a lot, is that his sister Fanny was arguably equally as gifted, but yet lived in a time when it was not socially acceptable for women to compose. So most of her music remained unplayed, lost,
falsely
or
claimed to
also
be
falsely
his.
claimed to be his.
Yeah.
And more recently, a lot of her music has been brought back, and so we're doing a sort of Felix and Fanny concert featuring both of them, because I think composers like her shouldn't be left in the past.
It's a bit like the Bronte sisters, isn't it? Where they had to use male names to
Exactly.
get published.
Exactly.
Yeah, there was a really nice story with Felix Mendelssohn he was Queen Victoria's favourite composer, and he was in London, and he went to the palace to see Queen Victoria, and she said, my favourite, sorry, that's a twin otter. He said, she said, my favourite song of yours is this beautiful song, and she sang the first line for him, and Felix Mendelssohn had to say, oh, sorry, actually, my sister wrote that one.
Oh, he actually admitted it.
Yeah.
At least he admitted it, to be honest. He could have just
could have taken credit, I guess. From that.
So Louisa's right. Louisa's right. It's really cool to be promoting her music now, in the same way that last year we played quite a lot of music by Clara Schumann, who was the more famous composer Robert Schumann's wife. And again, in the last 10 years, we've started discovering all of this music of hers that society just didn't really want to hear.
Just wasn't really interested in. It was sort of it was very much the attitude was that, oh, it's okay if she composes, it's very nice, lovely, but it's not really, it doesn't really mean anything. It's not as serious as her brothers, or in Clara Schumann's, her husband's music.
So we think it's really important that we play that music now, which we are doing.
Exactly, that's good.
Well, we're looking forward to that. Now, who have you got over this year, musician-wise?
We have a couple of returning people.
Yes.
Our wonderful pianist, Alexander Vorontsov, I think he's coming back for the third year now.
Yes, we broke on our rule. We usually only have people for 2 years on the band.
We like him so much.
Sacher is the one exception.
And he's rather good, isn't he?
He is rather
Yeah. He doesn't really give us a choice at the end of the festival. Louisa and I were like, oh, well.
There we go again.
So
he's coming back.
Yeah.
Who else is returning? Toby White, who came, I believe, the year before last. Wonderful British cellist who's coming back.
Who's coming with his partner, who's also a cellist, who is an amazing Dutch Baroque specialist cellist who's super well known.
So they're coming over together, which is a bit.
We have
a holiday.
We have a Daniel Shao, who's probably the best young flautist in London, who's from China, but lives and works in London. He's coming. Koko Tomita, who's a Japanese violinist. And
then our two viola players are the British viola player Edgar Francis, who is currently based in Basel and is very, very well regarded in the UK, and one of my friends, a viola player called Eric from Korea, who we studied together and played together quite a bit last year, and he's just got a job in Hamburg, so he's based there in the moment. But he's coming over in the summer. So we have a really good lineup.
We've got seven nationalities this year. And that's everyone. Yeah, we've got 7 nationalities this year. Japanese, Korean, Chinese,
I think 9, is it 9 musicians?
Yeah.
9 musicians, 7 nationalities.
Any singers?
Not bad. No singers this year.
No, okay.
Not this year.
Nothing for them to do this year.
No.
And locations on Alderney, Island Hall and the church?
Yeah, we're having one more in the church than we have usually.
Yeah, we had waiting lists last year for some of the church.
Yeah, we had the problem that every festival needs to have, which is that we sold many tickets.
We wanted to make it more available to more people, so we're
moving into the church. Yeah. Actually, most of the concerts.
Yeah, the 3 evening concerts are all in the church in St. Anne's, so more people can come.
I mean, we didn't like having to turn people away and say that they couldn't come.
No.
So
now we have more space in the church, but we have hired toilets for the church.
Yeah.
And we will be doing the Saturday evening concert by candlelight. Well, lovely. Electric candles. Don't worry, not real.
Fire safety.
Safety.
The church has real flames, doesn't it?
It does, yes, but we're not going to risk that. So yes, that will be Saturday evening. A little night music is by candlelight, so that will be.
And then we have our Bach and our last concert in the Island Hall and our children's concert in the Methodist Church.
Oh yes, children's concert.
How do you rate the acoustics on each one?
They've all got different things that I like about them.
Mm-hmm.
The St. Anne's is the best acoustic.
Yeah.
Yes, it's also the most. I think the most
It's
the most sort of aesthetically
it's
nice for
super,
a concert because it's so lovely.
But I do love in the Island Hall that we're so close
Yes.
to the audience, because that's something that's so nice. Is the front few rows in the Island, in fact, all the rows in the
I
Island
mean,
Hall.
even by the back row, you're within.
Yeah, so I do really like that about the Island Hall as well.
Which is why we always said that we wanted to keep some concerts in the Island Hall. But it's just obviously we want to make it available to as many people. But so I'd say probably on all sort of taken into account, I would probably say St. Anne's is probably the best concert venue.
Yeah, but the Island Hall's got so many nice things about.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that's good. Now, ticket availability, are they on offer yet?
They'll be on sale from tomorrow night.
Right.
Yes, we are doing. I don't know when this goes out.
This goes out on Friday, so we're going to be talking about history if you talk on this.
So
it's
yes,
okay by me.
So by Friday we will have done our launch concert in the Georgian tomorrow night
on the 20s.
So I hope you all enjoyed it. It's sort of strange. And then
thank you all for buying your tickets.
Thank you all for coming. If you came, and then the tickets will be available from the visitor centre. On Victoria Street, or you can call 07781 410 595 to speak to us and we can give you a ticket. We do a festival pass, which is £60, and it's a tickets to all five of the concerts.
And it's incredibly good value for money, because if you went to see this sort of thing in London, you'd be over £60 per performance. In fact, well over £60 per performance. So we need to support it from that point of view.
Thank you, and we're very lucky. We're very lucky we get to do that thanks to lots of
and
generous supporters, and we're very lucky.
What I wanted to come on to now, Samuel, the sponsors. We'd better say thank you to the sponsors.
Oh yes, I mean we have lots of amazing sponsors. We probably have too many now for me to sit and name and shame them on Alderney Broadcasting, but we are very lucky to have lots of support from UBP, which is a wonderful bank based in Jersey, who has supported us for 3 years now. David and Jackie Bromley, who sort of introduced David, who's very high up in UBP, introduced us to them, and they've supported us for years. And of course, Geraldine Whitaker, who really is the only reason the festival existed to begin with. She got us off the ground. She still supports us in all sorts of ways, but very sadly, her husband John, who was also a huge part of the festival, passed away recently. So we'll be doing the 2026 festival will be in John's honour. So really with no Geraldine and John, the festival just wouldn't have started. You need someone to believe in you. I mean, Louisa and I were 17 and 21 at the time. You need someone that thinks, this is a good idea. Let's give these borderline not adults a budget to start a chamber music festival in the Channel Islands. Great idea.
Yeah.
So you need someone that basically thinks that idea is not totally insane, which it clearly is. So she did that for us. So without Geraldine there would just be no festival. And then, of course, we have lots of our musicians have individual sponsors who are too many to mention here.
And also some of our concerts are sponsored by an individual or an organisation.
So, we're really lucky that Alderney, just as a whole, has just sort of got behind us and made it possible for us to keep, as you say, keep the tickets that we hope are really, so everyone that wants to come can come. Otherwise,
absolutely, no one can be denied due to the cost of the thing.
And I should just. Sorry, I should just say, speaking of that our children's concert, if anyone wants to bring little ones, our children's concert has always been and will always be free.
Yeah.
So you can come as long as you come. As a child comes with a parent and guardian, please don't just drop them off. We don't know how to deal with that. As long as you come with a parent and guardian, we can fill out the Methodist church until it's packed upstairs. So
that's great. That's great. And there's one important person we haven't mentioned. And that is, of course, your father.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I'll take he's there.
Yes,
he's overseeing.
But he does
Yes.
he does everything. He's your roadie. He
He
deals with
does,
the admin
yes.
and everything else. You know, he does a great job, and I think we
He
should.
does indeed. No, we're very lucky. Also, it's very I mean, it's essential really to have someone actually over here all the time because there's
Of
so much
course.
that we sort of can't do from
Yeah.
where we are. So no,
Yeah.
we're very lucky that he takes so much of that on board
Yeah.
during his in his well-earned retirement.
And we're very lucky to have a very sort of hands-on team.
Hosts,
Host families that look after musicians. Donald Hughes, who's sort of
runs the festival.
he's a one-man front of house machine. Louisa's husband Dennis, who does the barbecue and photographs and everything else, and my wife Laura, who does the children's concert and all sorts of things. Our mother, who writes all the program notes and looks at so we have a very sort of tight-knit team
it works
who
well.
gets us
It
through
works
the
well.
weeks.
And lots of sort of optional volunteers, who come and help us with the stage.
Yeah.
Because our stage is a bit of a nightmare to get up and down. We have lots of very kind helpers who come and do that, and spontaneous cakes that are brought round to rehearsals. It's very nice.
So we're very lucky.
I like that. Spontaneous cakes. Very good.
Yes.
If anyone wants to bring us spontaneous cakes in the week,
lovely. We're usually rehearsing in the Island Hall. So
all right, I shall bear that in mind and see if Christine can rustle up a few brownies. Anyway, lovely to speak to you both.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for doing what you do, because it means a lot to an island that's got problems at the moment. And to actually have you go over together with the rest of the ensemble makes all the difference, gives you hope. So there we are.
It's lovely.
Thank you. Well, we love
all. It's our pleasure.
Yeah, we know that. Take care then. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.